pray for Encik Hazwan's and his family's well-being juga, sebab dia pun satu family cerit berit sekarang ni, tak apa, sihat. Alright, okay. Alright, I'm gonna share my screen. Alright, so today's topic is very simple. Okay, we are already in chapter 10. Alright. Right, walaupun kita week 11, actually we are just reaching chapter 10 because the first week we have already done introduction. First week kita cakap apa, housekeeping dulu lah, tengok nak adjust kelas hari apa and everything, right? Okay. Alright, so this one is very simple, friendship in our life. Alright, okay. So in terms of having friends or friendship, of course none of us, saya rasa tak semua orang yang doesn't have any friends. Takkanlah, I mean, se-introvert mananya seseorang tu, dia mesti akan ada at least seorang kawan, or like at least a friend. Alright, so friend doesn't have to be a total stranger yang suddenly that you acquire and become your friend. Alright, you can also say that your mom is your friend, your partner is your friend, your wife is your friend, your husband is your friend, who else, your siblings are your friend as well. Okay, so the term friend here is very general, is very generic. Alright, sangat umum. Okay, but then usually in the Eastern culture, okay, we have distinction. Dalam budaya Timur ni, kita ada perbezaan between friends and also family members or relative. Selalunya ada perbezaan dan ada sedikit gap. Kadang-kadang it can be friends are closer to us and family is a bit far. Kadang-kadang family are very close, friend a bit far. Alright, but there will be distinction, alright, in terms of this kind of relationship. Okay. Alright. So the nature of friendship, it is an important relationship in our life, right? Because friendship ni, they are very unique. No rules, no law, no institutional structure, nothing, right? Friendship are built on the basis of you yourself are willing to invest. Okay, number one, you are willing to invest time, energy, your thoughts, and also feeling. Okay, it doesn't have to be, alright, nak jadi kawan aku kena ada ikut rule macam ni. It doesn't have to be like that. There's no such things unless, okay, unless for example, contohlah dulu gangster cabut kat sekolah, for example lah, nak jadi kawan aku boleh ikut aku pergi pukul budak ni, for example. So those are rules that you yourself created. Alright, but then there are no rules. There are no certain kind of rules for you to follow when you are coming up with a friendship. Alright, first you must have willingness to invest, right? Your time, your energy, your thoughts, and also your feelings. And also you must have emotional closeness. Alright, for example, some people, particularly feminine women, alright, selalunya women, of course all women are feminine, tapi ada juga women yang tomboy-tomboy klasik kan. And androgynous men. Okay, androgynous men ni maksud dia they are having the characteristic or nature of both male and female. Dalam bahasa kasar dia lembut lah sikit kan, tapi tidaklah pondan, cuma dia lembut lah sikit. Orang cakap androgynous man, they have some characteristic of lady and some characteristics of being a guy as well. Right, they express closeness through dialogue. Kita banyak berinteraksi, alright, banyak mengadu, banyak bercakap, banyak what we call that, kalau orang putih selalu buat malam-malam tu, slumber party lah, macam tu kan, duduk satu rumah kawan buat slumber party malam tu, buat rambut, do Indian nails, cerita-cerita sembang-sembang, right? But then some people, particularly masculine men, ni tough ni, they express closeness through doing shared activities. So kalau lelaki ni selalunya dia akan dia menzahirkan berperapatnya dengan kawan-kawan dia melalui aktiviti, contoh futsal, football, ataupun musim-musim banjir ni, jom kita pergi bantuan banjir, pergi, ataupun pergi mancing, pergi tengok bola, those things, those activities are being used to show closeness, alright, in terms of masculinity or masculine man. Alright, the nature of friendship also menekankan kepada acceptance, alright, penerimaan kita, because we expect friends to accept us, okay, including our flaws. Alright, kalau nak berkawan dengan aku ni bukan 100% baik, aku 70% baik, 30% ada kurang baik ke, something like that. So you have to get the 100% of me to be friend with me as well, alright, to get closer to me. Sama lah macam gawe ke, nak pilih bini ke, nak pilih boyfriend atau husband ke, it doesn't have to be that you choose, right, only the good things about him or her. You have to accept every single thing 100%. All right. Regarding to that person. Okay. With friends, we don't want to put up false fronts ataupun false hopes. Right. Dengan kawan-kawan ni, if we know that these people, okay, tak apa, dia okay. Hello, Lee, tak boleh datang lah Simon, tak boleh datang lah Pusai ni, cancel lah, tak lagi ada mah, okay, tak apa, tak datang. Because you know this is your friends, alright, so you will not give false hope, alright, kalau perlu cancel, you know that you can cancel and your friend will understand, alright. And you are being accepted by others, alright. Being accepted by others is the most important thing to prove that you are self-worthy, alright. Anda ini betul-betul berharga ataupun diterima sebab anda adalah diri anda, okay. Alright, and also trust, alright. There are two dimensions in trust. Confidence that others will be dependable, alright, meaning that you can rely on your friends, alright. Whatever happen, you know that this particular person you can rely on, alright. And assumes emotional responsibility, right? And if you fall emotionally or if you are stressed out emotionally, this is also the person that you can refer to for advice or you can talk to reduce your emotional stress, okay? Develops gradually and in degree. But then trust ni doesn't mean that dah berkawan dengan sewan ni terus percaya 100% lah. Doesn't mean like that, alright. So gradually dia akan sama-sama meningkat dan dia akan ada level-level dia yang tertentu. For example, being friend for 1 month meaning that mungkin segan lagi kan nak keluar minum-minum, tak sembang apa, krik-krik pula. And then but then after a year, after 2 years, alright, selalu lepak, go for football games together and everything, alright. So the trust in this particular friendship will gradually increase, alright. And it also depends on individual histories. For example, this particular good friend of us, kita dah kenal dia sejak tadika ke, kita dah kenal dia sejak sekolah rendah ke, sekolah menengah ke, alright, to the extent that we are very close and very good to him until now, alright, or maybe family scripts. For example, family kita dah tetapkan, ni kawan dengan anak teacher ni, for example, barulah boleh pandai English, kawan dengan anak Imam Leman, barulah boleh pandai mengaji, for example. So the family has already give you certain point of rules or certain guidelines in how you should choose your friends, okay? And then also willingness to take risk, meaning that you are making friends to people who is 100% a stranger. Tak kenal langsung ni, jumpa tapi rasa okay, boleh kawan, masuk air lah orang kata kan. And then you are willing to take risk to build friendship with this particular person. And then support, right? Of course, you show support by listening to problems, right? And then you let them know they aren't alone. Okay, janganlah masa susah, masa senang, jom makan KFC ikut Ranger, ikut. Masa dia susah, tinggal. Doesn't, alright, this particular action doesn't resemble a good friend, okay? And also being available, alright? Ada, maybe not physically, but always showing emotional support. Contoh emotional support, give calls or text, alright, ataupun bagi semangat. So these are some of emotional support that you can give to your friends. Alright, so the development of friendship, there are 4 stages, okay. Macam mana developnya friendship ni dengan seseorang. Number 1, meeting. Of course lah, meeting ni can be anything. Jumpa perjumpaan kelab ke, kelas ke, sekolah rendah ke, sekolah menengah ke, kawan anak kepada kawan mak ke, anak kepada kawan ayah ke, pergi training sama-sama ke, for example, right? And then fledging friendship, right? Meaning that you make a small self-disclosure to signal that we like to personalize the relationship or meet outside of context that naturally occur, alright? Kebetulan duduk sama-sama pergi training, for example lah kan, terpilih wakil negeri, pergi training, duduk share roommate lah, kata roommate sama-sama, duduk dekat MSN Kelantan, for example, right? And then you make self-disclosure. Self-disclosure ni, you introduce yourself, where you come from, and then bila dia pun dah kenal kita kat situ, kita pun kenal dia kat situ, alright? So maybe we tend to like, yelah roommate kan, go leave the room together, go for training together and things. So after the training ended, alright, we still have that connection. We are still in contact with that particular person, alright? Private rules for interacting develop, meaning that friends begin to work out their private rules for interaction. Some friends settle into pattern of getting together for specific things, okay? Jadi apabila private rules for interaction ni develop, contoh kita akan ada certain, let's say handshake, for example. kita akan ada certain hand signal, kita akan ada certain words yang mungkin kita dengan kawan-kawan kita je tahu. Jargon, for example, saya dengan kawan-kawan saya, kita tahu kalau handphone ni panggil apa, rokok panggil apa, pasal zaman sekolah, for example. Alright? And some friends also, they settle into patterns of getting together, doing specific things. For example, okay, seminggu, let's say weekend je pergi stadium tengok Red Warrior main, for example. Hari Rabu malam je main futsal. Rabu petang je pergi main rugby. Khamis malam kita pergi masjid baca Yasin, for example. So we have this set of activities that we do together, right, with almost the same set of person, which are our friends, okay? And then we have stabilized friendship, all right? As friendship becomes stabilized, they are often integrated into the larger context of each friend's social network. So when you have stabilized friendships, all right, whoever become friends with your friend will also automatically become your friends. So apa saja orang baru ataupun the new person coming into both of your life as friends, alright, there's no issue, no problem. You can also accept, he can also accept, or she can also accept the friends that you are having, okay? Right, but then we also have friendship deterioration, ataupun kita boleh kata macam mana friendship ni from strong become weak, ataupun from very rapat, sangat rapat menjadi sangat renggang, alright? Abrupt ending, alright, meaning that such abrupt endings are generally occasioned by serious breaches in trust, ataupun tiba-tiba je kita putus kawan, alright? Kita putus kawan selalunya because of things, alright, yang involve breaches of trust. For example, you air your confidence to others. Kadang-kadang kawan ni jealous lah kalau kita cakap dia boleh buat better lah dari kau, cakap jealous juga kita kawan lah sebab kita kawan kan. And then you steal from your friends, you lie and other things, alright, that might jeopardize, yang boleh menyebabkan hubungan kita dengan kawan kita ni terjejas, alright. And then gradual warning, alright, gradual warning ni meaning that to fall gradually, alright, ataupun perlahan-lahan you are being fall apart, alright, ataupun dipisahkan secara perlahan-lahan, ataupun secara perlahan-lahan kita losing contact with our friend, alright. So friends may drift apart because one move, okay, kadang-kadang sebab kita berpindah, or because the two are pulled in different direction by career or family demands, okay, berpindah sebab kerjaya ataupun ikut family. So in other cases, friendship deteriorate because they've run their natural course and have become boring. Sometimes kawan ni dia jadi dah tak berapa baik sebab dia dah boring dengan dia punya lifestyle yang dia dah ada dengan kawan tu. For example, contoh orang budak-budak muda kan, lepak dengan Mak Lee, for example, lepak dengan Mak Lee, merempit. Right, one day saya akan bosan juga merempit ni. Alright, so in order for me to leave rempit ni, I have also to gradually leave Mak Lee. Yes, saya kena tinggal juga Mak Lee ni. Bukannya kata kita gaduh, cuma kita dah tak get along together, macam tu, because you have gradually become boring of the lifestyle that you are having, okay? And then of course, serious violation of friendship rules, for example, trust, macam tadi lah, lie, lose of confidence towards your friends, ataupun kita tak ada when our friends need us, okay? Right, we have also a few pressure on friendship, okay? Number one, we have internal tension ataupun internal pressure. Relational dialectics, alright, dialectics ni maksudnya contradicting, alright, contradicting, alright. For example, we have autonomy versus connection, openness versus privacy, novelty versus familiarity, alright. Kadang-kadang kita nak rasa we have autonomous power, kita nak decide seorang. Kadang-kadang we also have to make connection, kena tanya orang lain juga. Kadang-kadang we want to be very open, kadang-kadang we want to be very private, okay. Kadang-kadang kita nak do something new, bosan lah asyik merempit je, ini nak try benda lain pula lah, for example kan. Ini nak try apa, main ikan beta lah, for example kan. All things that we are very familiar, hari-hari merempit buat benda yang sama, for example, alright. So this create tension when the people involved in the friendship have different expectation or needs, alright. Kadang-kadang dia rasa rempit is his life, tapi kawan dia dah tahu rempit ni sementara je, suka-suka je, one day dia akan go into a serious life juga, for example. So ada orang cakap apa, conflict of interest over there, okay, whether you want to have something very noble, nak try benda baru, ataupun you want to have something which is very familiar, nak buat benda yang kita dah biasa buat daily, okay. Diverse communication style, alright, interpretation of different communication style or perception creates misunderstanding. Okay, for example, seorang kawan, dua orang kawan di bangku sekolah sangat baik. Seorang agak pandai, seorang agak tercicir, right? Seorang boleh masuk U, dapat kerja yang bagus, for example pegawai ke apa. Seorang lagi kerja biasa-biasa ke, mekanik ke, something like that. Buat kedai makan ke, for example lah, tapi buat kedai makan pun banyak juga kan. Jadi pekerja lah, for example. So akan ada a bit of diverse or different communication style because of the way they have immersed into the community, or the level of education that they have, the level of earnings or the career that they have. Alright, so one day these two particular friends, kita akan perasan kawan kita, contohlah kawan kita balik overseas, kita perasan dia punya style ni macam lain sikit. Contoh ada kawan saya ni, dia asyik cerita UK punya education ni lain, anak dia belajar macam tu, tak letih, beg ringan, pergi sekolah tak ada uniform and everything. So we will feel a bit intimidated lah, for example kan. Kalau bagus, contohlah hati, bagus sangat UK tu, why don't you just stay there, right? Why don't you just let your daughter finish your school over there, contoh macam tu lah. So to different communication style that will create tension when you are interacting. And also sexual attraction, right? It creates tension when two friends have agreed not to add romance to their friendship or relationship, or if one person wants romance and the other does not. Especially ni best friend lelaki perempuan lah, dia friend zone, muda-muda saya cakap, ada friend zone, kena friend zone gitu. So if both of you have already agreed that there will be no romance in our friendship, alright, tapi sebenarnya deep down mungkin kita nak more than that, alright. Sometimes, okay, seorang nak, seorang tak nak, jadi macam tu pula. So it will create tension or pressure in your friendship. And also we have external pressure, alright, competing demands. Friendship have no rules, okay. Again, kita tak ada rule to govern how often, when and where we interact. So they are frequently the easiest relationship to neglect when we have too much to do. Maksudnya dekat sini, friendship ni kita tak set masa kita nak jumpa bila, keluar bila. Dia tak ada rule macam if you have serious relationship, contoh husband and wife ataupun lovers kita akan sentiasa ada this set of rules whereby kita tahu hari, let's say weekend je kita keluar makan, for example. Cuti je kita bawa family pergi jalan, for example. But then friendship ni kita tak ada benda macam tu. Cuti sekolah seminggu, kita kena masuk hiking. Cuti 3 hari, kita pergi KL. Contoh, kita tak ada, friendship ni tak ada that kind of rule. So therefore, bila kita tak ada this kind of rule, friendship ni antara relationship yang paling senang untuk diabaikan sebenarnya. Paling mudah untuk kita secara tak sengaja abaikan lah. Alright? And then personal changes. Mungkin kita rasa kita tak sama standard ke, ataupun kita rasa kawan kita tu tinggi dah level dia, tak layak lah aku kawan dengan dia, for example. Ataupun bila kita ikut dia pergi jumpa kawan-kawan dia, we feel intimidated, right? And then geographic distance, of course, friends of the heart who remain close regardless of distance and circumstances. And also we have friends of the road who change as we move along the road of life, alright? Sometimes friends of the heart ni maksudnya sejauh mana pun kita pergi, kita masih lagi contact dengan kawan kita ni. Whereas friends of the road, alright, di mana saja kita travel, maksud saya di mana saja kita berhijrah, yang kita singgah ataupun menetap ataupun kita tetap berpindah, kita akan create new friends around the road that we move in our life. Alright, social media may be used as a tool to develop friendship or to maintain friendship. Alright, I would like to ask this question to all 4 of you. Okay, nak mula dengan siapa? Cik Yamal lah, Cik Yamal. Do you think social media can be used as a tool to develop friendship or to maintain friendship? Cik Yamal rajin tak macam dapat kawan dekat Facebook, lepas tu jadi close? Ada tak? Pernah ada kes macam tu tak, Cik Yamal? Cik Yamal ada ke? Oh, terputus kan? Cik Yamal mungkin busy kot. What about Teacher An lah? Teacher An? What about you?
Ada kot. I think both.
Ada experience yang macam kenal dalam Facebook, lepas tu jadi baik? Pernah?
Ada pernah.
Pernah. So do you like 100% macam walaupun memang tak pernah jumpa ni, dan bila first time jumpa tu kita macam bagi 100% trust lah, macam okay, this is a good person to make friend with. Macam tu kan? Ke ada doubt, ada rasa ragu-ragu?
Tak adalah. Macam sebab dulu pernah lah juga join business macam tu. So bila kita berjumpa bila ada event atau macam let's say ada berkumpul, right? So tu MLM business. Jadi dia ada certain days yang dia akan berkumpul dengan dia punya leader. So sebelum ni kita jumpa atau kenal melalui macam from the group ke dalam social media macam group WhatsApp ke atau dalam group melalui Telegram. Dan bila ada event macam tu kita jumpa, so next event pun jumpa lagi and then jadi macam lepas tu close lah. Boleh discuss, boleh bincang pasal personal life.
Jadi close kan kena close, lain tau.
Jadi
close.
Jadi close yeah.
Alright, thank you teacher for sharing.
Alright.
Tu Cik Jamal ada dah. Alright. Untuk Cik Jamal pula.
Mic tak jadi.
Tak apa. Okay, dengar dah. So Cik Jamal, do you think online friendship as rich as face-to-face friendship? Sama tak level dia dengan face-to-face friendship ni? Kalau kita ada, contoh kita ada kawan kita ni memang online je, 100% online. Sama ke dengan kita kawan yang kita jumpa sehari yang face-to-face ni? Sama tak level dia macam tu? Cik Jamal.
Pandangan saya lah Prof.
Janganlah Prof.
Selalu tukar. Untuk social media tu, di social media, kita nak kenal seseorang tu dia agak ambil masa. Berbanding dengan kita kenal seseorang tu melalui fizikal.
Betul.
Sebab melalui fizikal kita boleh tengok karakter dia, the way talk, body language dan sebagainya. Social media ni walaupun kita nampak pada penulisan dia tu agak sopan, tapi belum tentu. Sebab pengalaman nampak di media sopan, percakapan dia sopan, tapi bila jumpa secara berdepan fizikal totally different.
Yes.
Kadang-kadang menyebabkan kita rasa shock kejap. Betul ke dia ni aku jumpa? Tapi semua tu dia ambil masa lah. Kalau social media ni ambil masa. Kita kena kenal bila dia bertemu. Ada juga yang saya kenal melalui sampai sekarang tak pernah jumpa. Sebab kita kenal melalui grup. Grup kan banyak grup Facebook. Tapi mereka ni amat friendly dan amat membantu jika kita nakkan apa-apa maklumat. Walaupun kita tak kenal, tapi dia menunjukkan profesionalisme dia lah sebagai somebody yang mungkin dia ni mahir dalam bidang tertentu dan dia sudi untuk memberi maklumat kepada kita walaupun dia tak kenal kita secara zahirnya.
Betul.
Macam-macam lah ada pro dan kontra dia lah dalam media sosial.
Alright, thank you Cik Jamal. I would like to share one experience lah. Last lama dah lah before pandemic. Bila sepupu saya kahwin 2018, I think it's 2000 around 17 or 18, sepupu saya kahwin, bayar saya, masa tu saya tak kahwin lagi. And then Pak Long saya ni dia jemput kawan dalam, dia letak kat Facebook dah, jemputlah ke Nuri, dia sebut rakan-rakan Facebook lah. Jadi ada seorang rakan Facebook dia ni all the way from Kelantan datang. Dia bercakap ni kenal kat Facebook. Datang all the way from Kelantan datang. Saya pun wow. Gigih betul pakcik ni. Selalunya kita anggap benda tu sebagai hebahan Facebook itu je lah. Tapi tak sangka lah pula kan ada kawan yang kena online. Mungkin saya tak tahulah benda ni kadang randomly you add person lah. Contoh macam saya ada minat rugby something. Ada orang minat rugby pun add saya juga. Macam tu lah. But then this particular person all the way from Kelantan to Guat Cepedak. Kat Gurun, Guat Cepedak datang makan. Saya tabik lah uncle tu datang dengan pakcik, dengan wife dia. Alright. Okay, cyberbullying of course lah. Bila kita cakap pasal social media ni, cyberbullying will always happen. That's why I always advise my student, kalau boleh kita nak post ataupun berkata apa-apa online ni berpada-pada. Sebab tak semua orang ni sependapat dengan kita dan tak semua orang ni akan sokong kita. Alright, dia akan cakap macam-macam. Kadang-kadang orang kadang-kadang sangat gigih semata-mata nak mengata kita, dia sanggup buat satu fake account. To that extent. Okay. Wallahualam. Alright. Guidelines for communication between friends. Alright. Of course, you have to engage in dual perspective. Kita kena ada orang cakap apa? Kita kena ada satu hubungan yang me and you, you and me as well. All right. So when a friends act, okay, we perceive the action selectively, we interpret and evaluate what happened, and we assign meaning to it and make inferences from what we have labeled. Right, and then communicate honestly, right, grow from differences, and of course do not sweat the small stuff. Kalau pergi makan roti canai berapa 5 ya belanja je lah, berapa 20 ya belanja je. Kadang-kadang kan, kadang-kadang lelaki macam tu lah kan, kadang lelaki ni pergi okay, satu kedai kawan ni belanja, next kedai orang lain faham lah belanja lah pula. Ataupun kalau jenis nak keluar duit tu hulur je berapa. So do not sweat the small stuff as long as you enjoy your friendship. Okay. Alright. Any question? Ada apa-apa soalan ke? Senang je topik malam ni. Nothing much lah. Ada apa-apa soalan berkenaan assignment? Ada nak tanya pasal assignment? Tak ada kot So I assume, alright, kalau boleh tolong habiskan assignment, okay, by next week. Alright, end of next week lah, saya bagi sampai Sabtu next week, please submit. Alright. Kalau tak nanti saya tak boleh nak bagi markah ongoing assessment. Kalau tak nanti tak boleh. Maksudnya tak boleh bagilah markah ongoing assessment berapa, nak prepare untuk final, apa yang cakap tu? Bukan final exam, kita nak buat term paper. Final term paper. Okay. Alright, so if there's no more question, alright, thank you very much for joining. Alright, I hope all of you jaga kesihatan lah, jagalah kesihatan. Saya sendiri pun tak tahulah macam mana saya boleh terlekat. Saya on the way saya pergi tu, saya dah swab dah sebab swab lah. Kita panggil apa? TCR rapid test. So, nak tunjuk kat organizer kan. On the way balik tu, okey je. Saya bangun esok pagi tu, saya test pun negatif lagi. 3 kali saya test negatif. Ahad malam baru saya ada simptom. Isnin baru saya pergi swab. Positif pula. Tak apalah nak macam mana. So, thank you very much for joining. I'll see you again next week. Don't forget to finish up your assignment. Alright, Assalamualaikum. Have a very good weekend, everyone. Bye-bye.
Sir.
Ya, saya.
Sorry.
Cici An, kenapa?
Okay, saya nak tanya soalan.
Okay.
Sebab dalam assignment 2 tu, dia cakap task require students to propose suitable communication techniques to resolve conflict in professional setting. Professional setting tu maksudnya kita punya organisation lah.
Organisation lah.
Okay.
Kalau kita tak ada satu contoh, kalau kita tak ada satu professional setting yang kita ada, ambil contoh orang lain pun boleh. Jadi ada macam interview jugalah. Tapi kita tak adalah interview orang, mungkin kita get points from another person perspective nak dapatkan. Professional setting ni doesn't mean corporate punya setting, tapi tak. Your organisation lah will be okay, no problem. Tak ada masalah. Janganlah konflik macam, maksudnya janganlah konflik di rumah. Yang tu tak boleh lah. Konflik yang melibatkan kerja. Gitu. Contoh kalau kita contoh kita jual Shopee apa pun, ada konflik kan between you and also your buyer or your seller. Kita beli Shopee. Konflik between you also, tu pun boleh juga. Tapi kenalah ada resolution of the conflict tu. Janganlah konflik saja, lepas tu kita report. Lepas tu bye-bye, tak tahu macam tu. Kena ada you make contact, alright, the experience tu you ada make contact with the seller and how you resolve the problem. So in the end dapat balik ke barang kita ke, dapat refund ke, macam mana seller tu approach yang dia guna tu, based on that 4 approach, dia guna approach yang mana yang terbaik. Tapi kita explain lah, kalau approach ni dia boleh guna approach number 1, okay, dia buat macam ni. Kalau kita suggest dulu, right, approach number 1, okay, dia patutnya buat macam ni. Approach number 2, dia patutnya buat macam ni. Approach number 3, dia patut macam ni. Approach number 4, dia patut macam ni. So pilih which one is the best approach and then bagi tahu kenapa, why. Kenapa yang nombor 3 ni kita pilih, yang ni yang terbaik. Kenapa? Macam tu. Boleh ke, Teacher Ann?
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Anis ada nak tanya tadi? Anis? Wah, ni senyap lah. Anis, betul pula. You got a question just now? Tak clear ni. Sekarang ni nak WhatsApp lah. Nes? Tak ada apa-apa. Okay. Alright, kalau ada apa-apa nak tanya, boleh tanya dalam WhatsApp group, kita boleh discuss dan explain sama-sama. Mana tahu benda yang some of you ask tu boleh membantu juga rakan-rakan yang lain. Nak jawab salam. Okay. Okay, thank you everyone. Assalamualaikum, good night. Alright, selamat berhujung minggu. Jumpa lagi tahun depan. Masuk toilet malam ni, masuk toilet tahun ni, keluar tahun depan. Macam mana tak lawak tu?
Jauh tu. Dahsyat.
Lupa lah.
Esok tu sir. Esok bukan malam ni.
Mana cukup pukul 11.58 ke 9.58. 2 hari masuk tandas.
Okay.
Ada.
Okay, terima kasih. Assalamualaikum.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih banyak.
Terima kasih. Thank you sir.
Stop recording. Stop.